Hi, it's Cindy at Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. So I find myself in an interesting position where I'm currently doing something that I really didn't think I was ever going to do, which is you being able to see my face on YouTube. Certainly I am way outside my comfort zone. In fact, I think that my comfort zone and this zone are probably in different galaxies. This is the thing. I receive psychic insights. Some people call them flashes or sparks, and there's a whole lot of names for them. And my intention typically is that I receive those sort of sparks or insights while I am doing cards. And that just sort of adds to it. But every once in a while, what happens is you sort of get a bunch of information, not when you're doing cards, for example, like at 4:30 this morning. So I got these insights, and they're really interesting because they sort of look like they lay out almost potentially what could go on in big bites in the United States in about probably the next year. So I'm just going to, get them out there. I'm just going to sort of tell you what I saw, tell you what it means, and go from there. Before I start, I just want to explain that when I receive these things, it is a picture that forms in my third eye, and I see the picture. While I'm absorbing the picture, I get I call it a download. It's like just all of a sudden, I know stuff. I understand stuff. I have information. I understand the picture. So that's how it works for me. Everybody is different. Everybody does their thing. So first one I got was that I believe, as of right now, the energies indicate that Roger Stone, his was the last indictment of, kind of the big names, the names that are well known, the names that, are around that. I'm not saying there won't be a few more, but I think his is sort of maybe the last of that fish that's swimming in that circle. I feel very strongly that there are indictments for Trump and the truplets. The truplets is what I call Jared and Eric and Don Jr. and Ivanka, that group, that's just their name, the trumpets. I believe that there are indictments for Trump and for the trumpets that are sealed, almost for safety. And on that score, I'm also not sure that the only ones that are out there are in in New York or Washington. I actually think that there could be some in a couple of other states also. So that was sort of interesting to me. And this is sort of the thinking behind it as I can understand it. Robert Mueller is doing this investigation. Now, this is a man who, after that horrible terrorist attack on 9/11, he was one of those people that kind of brought the country back together. So he is super aware of, the country's security, what's safe for the country, both the civil, international. He's not going to just march in and start arresting Donald Trump's kids. Donald Trump would blow an absolute gasket. It would be so dangerous, and nobody would be able to control Trump. So the personality is too explosive. There's kind of no way to safeguard what could happen if all of a sudden his children started getting indictments. It's just, So, given that really explosive personality, for right now, everything appears to be kind of sealed. The next thing I saw was that Trump is leaving office. It will be before 2020. I'm not sure why. I don't have a really clear timeline on that, but I want to say 4 to 6 months. We're February, the end of February now. And he's just going to leave quietly. I don't know if there's going to be a real or imagined medical issue, or he just decides that he's going to quit. I mean, what's going on behind the scenes is probably very, very similar to what happened in the Nixon Watergate thing, where the people, his party went to him and said, "Listen, we just simply can't support you anymore, so it's time to go." That happening means that Pence comes in as president. He's going to be a real lame duck kind of president. Mostly he's going to be spending his time on goodwill tours trying to fix and mend relationships with traditional allies, kind of going along. I can see where they're going to roll back some of the really difficult stuff like tariffs and that kind of thing. They're going to roll that back and just kind of stop that continuing pain. If they're going to investigate Pence, it will not be now. This is what's going on. The United States psyche cannot take hit after hit after hit like that. So in some cases, better to sit with the situation as more contained than opening everything wide up. Now, what this does when Pence goes in is it creates a situation where all of a sudden the 2020 elections are not kind of the way they were before, because before they were sort of like, okay, well, the Democrats, are trying to get Trump out of the office, and yet they have all these other issues, but, they were put in to stop him. So, well, if he's gone, that changes and that shifts. So that's going to be really, really interesting to see. One of the more humorous flashes I got was regard to the GOP during this time. They're not really going to have anything to run on. So their slogans are kind of going to boil down to, okay, we know that we didn't listen to you, and we know that we really screwed you on that whole, tax thing. And yeah, we get that like thousands, were impacted by that government shutdown, in fact, millions. But, if you don't vote for us, the Democrats are going to end up with the White House and the Senate and the House, and it's going to be, Democrats are going to run everything and ruin anything. I can literally see that almost being their slogan. Now, I am not the person to start quoting GOP party lines or talking points to you. I mean, I'm Canadian. What do I know? But it's going to be sort of an interesting mix-up as we watch this unfold. What I've seen actually happening to Trump is sort of death by 1,000 cuts. As he leaves office, and that's when the indictments get unsealed, and he is facing investigations, he is facing lawsuit after lawsuit. There's going to be discovery, there's going to be more indictments, there's going to be more information coming out. And he is just not going to keep being able to spin it, and the GOP is not going to be able to spin it. And that's what the beginning of that process is, when Trump just leaves. And once he's gone and that process continues, he's almost going to end up depleting all of his resources trying to defend himself, trying to explain this away. So, that's going to be sort of interesting as that carries on. Frankly, the Trump brand is just going to kind of crash. So that was sort of a really fast trip through the insights that I received. So, I don't know, I feel like these are accurate for the energies of this time for right now. Things are always subject to change. But I wanted to put it out there. I started this channel in part because I felt like maybe that I had a message that I could bring that would help just calm down some of the energy and just, let things sort of settle a bit so that the changes that the United States is going through aren't quite so high energy. They're not burning quite so hot. Things, we keep things a little calmer. So I, am hoping that the things I say and share on my channel reach out, connect with somebody, and possibly make them feel better, calmer, more at peace with kind of the crazy world we're living in right now. So if you've liked this video, I ask you to like and comment, you could subscribe, and you could absolutely share. That would be brilliant. So thank you very, very much. I hope you've enjoyed this, and we'll see you soon. Until later, be well.